All right, so we're going to look at question number 3 first. Remember, this is the one where we had to make a correction to it. This line right here is the one that should be labeled as line C, not this line down here. So we had to make a correction to that one yesterday. First thing they tell us in this problem is that angle 2 is 8x minus 14 degrees, this angle right here. 8x minus 14. And they also tell us that angle 6 is 2x plus 28, this angle right down here. And then they also tell us that angle number 3 is 3y minus 33 degrees, this angle here. We want to find x and y so that line B is parallel to line C. So these two lines right here should be parallel to each other. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to look at the two angles that we have x's in. I have an x right here and an x right here. So those have to be the angles that I look at to set this up. What type of angles are these two? Are they interior or exterior angles? They're exterior angles. The interior would be this space in between B and C. So those are exterior angles. Same side or opposite sides of this transversal? Opposite. So what do we call that angle pair? Alternate exterior angles, yes. And when my lines are parallel, which we want them to be parallel here, what is true about alternate exterior angles? Are they congruent or supplementary? Congruent or supplementary? They are congruent. Both of the alternates, alternate exterior and alternate interior, are supplementary angles. So angle 2 is congruent to angle 6, which means the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 6. Angle 2 is 8x minus 14. Angle 6 is 2x plus 28. Then we're going to solve this for x. What's the first thing I want to do here if I'm going to solve this for x? That'll be the second thing I do. Subtract 2x from both sides because I want to get my x's together first. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So that will give me 6x minus 14 equals 28. Now what do I do? Add 14 to both sides. I'm going to have to scoot all my work over because I'm going to run into that line. What is 28 plus 14? $42. Then we take both sides and we divide both sides by 6. What is 42 divided by 6? 7. So x is 7. All right, so we found x. We still need to find y. We only have one angle with y in it. It's this one right here, angle 3. And angle 3 is right next to angle 2. What do we call angles that are right next to each other like that? Looking for an L word. Linear pair. Angle 2 and angle 3 are a linear pair. Are linear pair angles congruent or supplementary? Supplementary. So the measurement of angle 2 plus the measurement of angle 3 equals 180. Angle 2 is 8x minus 14. Angle 3 is 3y minus 33. Bring down my equals 180. I have a problem though. I have an x and a y in this equation. We're going to substitute the 7 that we just found in the place of x. So I would have 8 times 7 minus 14 plus 3y minus 33 equals 180. What is 8 times 7? 56. So I have 56 minus 14 plus 3y minus 33 equals 180. And then I have these 3 constants here, these 3 numbers that don't have any variables with them that I can combine together. What is 56 minus 14 minus 33? How much? 9, yes. So I have 3y plus 9 equals 180. I'll see you tomorrow, sir. What do I do now? Subtract 9 from both sides. What is 180 minus 9? 171. So 3y equals 171. We divide both sides by 3. What is 171 divided by 3? 57. So y is 57. Angle 6 and angle what? 6 and 3 would also be supplementary. Yes. So you could do that. We don't have a special name for that angle pair, but they are supplementary, so that relationship would still hold. All right, what else would you guys like to see? Number 10, sounds good. Given the points -3, -14, and 5, -2, find the slope of the line that is parallel and perpendicular to the line that goes through the given points. What do we know about parallel slopes? What do we know about parallel slopes? Same slope, yes, different y-intercept, but same slope. Yes, perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. Opposite sign. And reciprocal, which is where we flip the fraction. Slope. So we're going to need to find the slope between these 2 points. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You will have that formula to use on the test. So you have to pick out one of your 2 points to be point 1. That's an x1, y1. And your other point would be point 2. That would be your x2, y2. It doesn't matter which point you pick for which, but one of them has your x1, y1, the other one has your x2, y2. So then we take our y2, which is negative 2. We subtract off our y1, which is negative 14. So the first thing we do is we work with these two numbers here. Those are my numerator. My denominator comes from the other two numbers, the negative 3 and the 5. We do x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is negative 3. Both top and bottom, we are subtracting a negative. So my numerator is actually negative 2 plus 14. My denominator is 5 plus 3. What is negative 2 plus 14? Negative 2 plus 14. 12. And 5 plus 3? 8. That is my slope. It's not in simplest terms. It's not a fully reduced slope, but that is my slope. Let's see if we can get this reduced. What's a number that'll go into both 12 and 8? What's the biggest number that goes into both 12 and 8? 4 goes into both. So we're going to divide both top and bottom by 4. What is 12 divided by 4? 3. And 8 divided by 4? 2. This slope right here, because parallel is the same slope, that's what I write down for my parallel slope, 3 over 2. For my perpendicular slope, it has to have the opposite sign. Since 3 over 2 is positive, this one will be negative. And then instead of 3 on top and 2 on bottom, we flip it over to have 2 on top and 3 on bottom. What else would you guys like to see? Number 11, absolutely. Number 11, you've been given this line. We are not graphing that line. If you want to graph it, I won't take off points. It's not wrong if you graph it, but that's not what I'm giving points for on the problem. So if you graph this line, you still didn't do anything that I asked you to do in the problem. So you do not graph that y-intercept of negative 6. The only reason you have been given this line is so you can find the slope. We want a line that is parallel to this line, so it has to have the same slope. So my parallel slope is 1 over 3. But before I can do anything with that, I know it has to go through this point right here. So you have to graph this point first. You will not have a y-intercept in this picture that you plot. You plot this point instead, negative 4, 2. Remember, when you go to plot points, the first number they give you in the xy pair is your x. Your x-axis goes left and right. So that first number is telling you how far left or right you need to go. Since the first number is negative 4, we're going to go to the left 4. And then the second number is positive 2, so we go up 2. That is the very first thing that should go on your graph. And then from that point, you're going to use the slope to find your rise over run. The top number is my rise, and it's a positive, so we're going to go up 1. The bottom number is my run. It is also positive, so we're going to go to the right. So from this point right here, I will count up 1 and right 3 and put down my next point. Up 1 and right 3 and put down a point. Up 1 and right 3. Up 1 and right 3. I can get another point on there if I do everything in reverse. Instead of up, I go down. Instead of right, I go left. So down 1 and left 3 to put down this point. And then I grab my straight edge and I draw through those points. Still not the right thing. There we go. There's my parallel line. For part B, we're going to do it just like we did part A, except this time I want it to be perpendicular to the original line. Yes. So we're going to need a slope that is the opposite sign and the reciprocal. So we're going to flip the fraction. But just like before, we have to plot our point first. Has to go through this point. So this is what we graph first. Again, yesterday on the skills check, I had a lot of people graph the y-intercept for the given line and the slope for the given line. I'm not asking for that at all. So plot the point 1, 6. Get that point down first. And now we need our slope. My perpendicular slope will have the opposite sign. Since 1/3 was a positive, this one will be negative. Instead of 1/3, we're going to do 3/1. And that gives me my new rise and my new run. How many negative signs do I have here? Just one negative sign. So when I'm thinking about rise and run, that negative sign either goes with the top or it goes with the bottom, not both. I only have the one negative sign, so it's got to go with somebody. I'm going to put it with my numerator here. Since the rise is now a negative number, that means we're going to go down 3. My run is still a positive number, so I'm going to run to the right. If I had put the negative with my denominator, then I'd be going up and left. So from that black point that I plotted, we go down 3 and right 1. Plot a point. Down 3 and right 1. Down 3 and right 1. Down 3 and right 1. I can't go down 3 again because that puts me off my graph. That would put a point right down here. I can't go backwards because, again, that would put me off my graph. That would put me back here. I don't need to plot the points that aren't on the graph. But once I get all of my points on there, I'm going to draw a line that goes through my plotted points. This is my perpendicular line. What else would you guys like to see? 19? 13. Absolutely, we can go look at number 13. Number 13, I want two equations in the end. One that is parallel to the given line and one that is perpendicular to the given line. I know that parallel means I'm going to have the same slope. And perpendicular means that I'm going to have the opposite sign and the reciprocal. So we're going to flip the fraction. So I'm going to divide my page into two parts. One side for parallel, one side for perpendicular. They gave me this equation here. I do not care about that y-intercept at all. The only reason they gave me this equation was so that I could identify the slope. You need to put your phone away, please. Both of these lines are going to pass through this point right here. Because they gave us a point, and we either know or we can find the slope, we're going to use point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You with me, Jose? We're on number 13. We're going to take the point xy. That's an x1 and a y1. We're going to put that in the equation in the place of x1, y1. And for parallel, I want my slope to be the same. So we'll do parallel first over here. What will the slope be? Four over 3. So that's what we put in the place of the m, 4 over 3. Not because that's the slope of the given line, but because we wanted the same slope as the given line so that it was parallel. And then parentheses, x minus, what's my x1? Negative 24. That's what we put in the place of x1 here. On the other side of the equal sign, I have y minus y1. What is y1? 10. So we put 10 in the place of the y1. We are subtracting a negative here inside these parentheses, so that's going to turn to a plus. So I have y minus 10 equals 4/3 times x plus 24. Then we distribute this 4/3. Please make sure you multiply both pieces by the 4/3. So it'd be y minus 10 equals 4/3 x plus, what is 4/3 times 24? Thank you. 4/3 times 24. 32. And then the last thing we need to do is add 10 to both sides to get the y all by itself. And so that means my parallel line equation is y equals 4/3 x plus 42. For perpendicular, what do I want the slope to be? Negative 3 over 4. Has to be the reciprocal and it has to be opposite sign. So we need to use point slope form. That is an equation that you will get to use on the test. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is going to be very similar to what I just did over there. Here's where I saw the biggest mistakes yesterday. In the place of m, people used 4 over 3 for perpendicular. And then at the very end, they flipped it around. You can't do that. The slope that you want your answer to have has to be the slope that you substitute in right here. So right here is where we have our negative 3 over 4 for the slope. Inside the parentheses, we're going to have x minus negative 24, just like before. And on the other side, it's going to be y minus 10, just like before. 10 in the place of y1, negative 24 in the place of x1. This turns into addition. So y minus 10 equals negative 3 over 4 times x plus 24. We take negative 3/4 and distribute it. It has to be distributed to both pieces. So I would have y minus 10 equals negative 3 over 4x. What is negative 3/4 times 24? Negative 3/4 times 24. Negative 18. The last thing we need to do on this problem then is add 10 to both sides. My perpendicular equation would be y equals negative 3/4 x minus 8. What else would you guys like to see? Number 4? Absolutely. Let's go look at number 4.
Can you go back for a second?
Yep, absolutely. Oh, wait, that wasn't the right one. That's the right one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, number 4. Angle number 1 is 3x plus 20. Here's angle 1. 3x plus 20. Angle 2 is 6x plus 25. Here's angle 2. 6x plus 25. And then angle 3. Sorry, angle 4. 5y minus 5. Here's angle 4. 5y minus 5. What do you know about angles 4 and 2? They're vertical angles, yes. Angles 4 and 2 are vertical angles, so they are congruent. Do they have the same variable in them? No, but I will be setting them equal. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 4, so the measurement of angle 2 equals the measurement of angle 4. So this would be 6x plus 25 equals 5y minus 5, but I can't go any further on this problem until I know what either x or y is. So I'm going to go back to my problem. I have an x right here and an x right here. Talk to me about angles 1 and 2. They are a linear pair. They are side by side. They're formed by the same two intersecting lines. And what do we know about linear pair angles? They add up to 180. Angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. In the place of angle 1, I'm going to put 3x plus 20. Plus, in the place of the measure of angle 2, we're going to put 6x plus 25. And then drop down my equals 180. We have some like terms that we can combine here. I have 3x and 6x that would get combined to give me what? 3x and 6x combined to 9x. And then I have a positive 20 and a positive 25 that combine to give me 45. So 9x plus 45 equals 180. Then we subtract 45 from both sides. What is 180 minus 45? 135. And then we divide both sides by 9. And we get that x is what? X is 15. So there's one of the things I was supposed to find. Now I can come over here and I have 6 times 15 plus 25 equals 5y minus 5. What is 6 times 15? 90. So I have 90 plus 25 equals 5y minus 5. What do we get when we combine 90 and 25 together? 115. 115 equals 5y minus 5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That gives me 120 equals 5y. And then we divide both sides by 5. What is 120 divided by 5? 24. So 24 equals y. We have about 10 minutes left. That gives me time for 1 or 2 more problems, depending on how long they are. What else would you guys like to see? Number 6, absolutely. Problem number 6. My first question to you is, what do these little arrows mean here? It means parallel. So I start off by knowing that these lines are parallel in the picture. Measure of angle B is x plus 47 degrees. Here's angle B, x plus 47. The measure of angle E is 3x minus 11. Well, here's angle E, 3x minus 11. Is angle E interior or exterior? Interior. What about angle B? Is that interior or exterior? Exterior. So do we have matching corners? Are these two in matching corners? No, one is upper left, the other one is upper right, so they're not corresponding. I don't have a name for interior and exterior, one of each, unless they're in matching corners. So we're going to have to find another relationship. I know another angle up here that's the same size as angle B. C is the same size as angle B. This one right here. These are vertical angles. And they are congruent. Angle B is congruent to angle C because they are vertical angles. Do we have a special name for this angle pair, C and E? Are they interior or exterior, C and E? Interior angles. Same side or opposite sides of this transversal here? Same side. What do we call them then? Consecutive interior angles. What's true about consecutive interior angles? Are they congruent or supplementary? Supplementary, yes. So that means that the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle E is equal to 180 degrees. Well, we said angles B and C are the same size, so in the place of C, I can put x plus 47. In the place of E, I can put 3x minus 11. That's equal to 180. Then I have some like terms. What do I get when I combine x and 3x together? What is x plus 3x? 4x, yes. And then we're going to subtract 47 minus 11. What is 47 minus 11? 36. So 4x plus 36 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. I get 4x equals 144. And then we divide both sides by 4, and that means x is how big? 36. All right, we need to find angles F and H yet. What's another angle up here that's the same size as F? B. Angles F and B are corresponding angles. Are corresponding angles congruent or supplementary? Congruent. So the measure of angle F is equal to the measure of angle B, because angle F is congruent to angle B. So the measure of angle F is x plus 47. So it's going to be 36 plus 47. What is 36 plus 47? 83. So angle F is 83 degrees. Then we also need angle H. What else is the same size as angle H? Angle E. Those are vertical angles. Angle H is congruent to angle E. So the measurement of angle H equals the measurement of angle E. Measurement of angle H then would be 3x minus 11. So I do 3 times 36 minus 11. What is 3 times 36 minus 11? 90, how much? I got 90 something, but not 94. 97, yes. We get 97 degrees here. Notice that angles F and H form a linear pair. That means they are supplementary. So I can check to see if I did this right by adding 83 and 97. We get 180. All right. I'm going to show you on Canvas where you can find the answer key for the test review. You are going to be turning that in tomorrow. From our home screen, you want to click on modules over here in these left-hand navigation tabs. You're going to find module 3B. You want to scroll almost all the way to the very bottom of that module where it says review for module 3B test day 2. It says Tuesday 10/1, that's today. You're going to click on that. As you scroll down, this is where the videos will be later today after I'm done taking all the videos for all the classes. Down at the very, very bottom of the page is the answer key for the test review. Has all of my work for every single problem. You guys will be turning this in tomorrow, so please make sure that you have it completed. Tomorrow, you will be getting a worksheet that you will use on Thursday for your e-learning activity for this class. Thursday, you do not report to the building. We do not have Zooms. I have a relatively short video posted for you guys. The worksheet goes along with the video, and that's what you need to watch in order to be prepared for class on Friday.